At a London movie premiere in 1956, Queen Elizabeth II met Marilyn Monroe. Both women were just 30 years old at the time, representing two different kinds of global royalty. In the hop fields of Kent, England, farm workers in 1928 used massive stilts to tend to the crop. This method allowed them to reach the high-growing hops, which could climb up to 20 feet on wires. A young Cameron Diaz poses in Las Vegas around 1995, just as her career was taking off after the success of The Mask. She would soon become one of the highest-paid actresses in Hollywood. Actress Sybil Shepherd is pictured here in 1976, the same year her classic film Taxi Driver was released. During the 70s, she was one of Hollywood's most prominent and sought-after stars. Suzanne Pleshette, seen here in the 1960s, was known for her distinctive, husky voice. She later became a household name, playing Bob Newhart's wife on The Bob Newhart Show. A rare photograph shows Dolly Parton with her husband of over 50 years, Carl Thomas Dean. He has famously avoided the spotlight his entire life, preferring a quiet life back in Tennessee. The silhouette of a worker stands against the backdrop of the Magnitogorsk Iron and Steel Works in the Soviet Union around 1930. This massive industrial city was one of Stalin's key five-year plan projects, built under grueling conditions. During a landmark trip to China in 1984, President Ronald Reagan and First Lady Nancy Reagan toured the Terracotta Army. The visit was a significant step in strengthening relations between the United States and China. Singer and actress Lena Horne was a groundbreaking performer who fought against racial segregation in Hollywood. Studios often filmed her musical numbers in a way that they could be easily cut out for showings in Southern theaters. An inventor in 1949 demonstrates his radio hat, a portable radio built into a straw hat. The device, which could pick up stations from within a 20-mile radius, was a commercial failure, but remains a classic novelty. Susan Day is pictured here around 1970 when she was starring as Laurie Partridge on the hit TV show The Partridge Family. Her role as the responsible older sister made her a familiar face in millions of American homes. With tears in his eyes, George Gillette of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation watches as his people's land is signed away in 1948. The contract, which he was forced to sign, flooded 155,000 acres of their North Dakota territory for a dam project. Two men enjoy the warmth of their car while ice fishing on a frozen lake in Michigan in 1955. This method of using the car as a shelter was a common sight for Midwesterners braving the winter cold. A 15-year-old Winona Ryder is seen in 1986, the year her first film, Lucas, was released. She was on the verge of becoming a major star with iconic roles in Beetlejuice and Heathers, just a couple of years away. Inside the Douglas Aircraft Plant in Long Beach, California, women work on the fuselage of a B-17F bomber. These Rosie the Riveters were a crucial part of the home front effort that armed the military during World War II. During a 1999 trip to Tokyo, Britney Spears was promoting her debut album, which had just made her a global phenomenon. She was only 17 years old when Baby One More Time hit #1 in every country it charted in. A laughing Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill celebrate the success of Star Wars at comedian Eric Idle's apartment in 1978. Idle, of Monty Python fame, presented them with a gold record for the movie's soundtrack. Long before modern tourism, the Great Wall of China appeared far more rugged, as seen in this 1907 photograph. Many sections of the wall were simple earthworks and have since been extensively rebuilt for visitors. Classic American cars from Ford and Chevrolet crowd a street in Baghdad during the 1950s. At the time, Iraq's oil-fueled economy made the city a modern hub with significant Western influence. Just before Beatlemania exploded, the band played a gig at a small Aldershot club in December 1961 to only 18 people. The promoter had failed to advertise the show, so the band ended up playing football with the few audience members. The British minicar was a symbol of 1970s London style, often seen with models like Jenny Claire. Its compact size and nimble handling made it perfect for navigating the city's narrow streets. cI0aC9oe and thgsdf of the Tlingit Nation posed for this portrait in 1912, wearing traditional ceremonial clothing. The photograph was taken by Louis and Florence Shotridge, Tlingit ethnologists who documented their own culture. Hollywood's famous intersection of Sunset and Vine is seen here in the 1950s, with the iconic NBC Radio City building on the right. This corner was considered the heart of the radio and television industry during its golden age. In the mid-1940s, Sinatra mania was in full swing, with teenage fans known as Bobby Soxers mobbing the singer. The phenomenon became so intense that it often required a heavy police presence at his concerts. Famed artist Salvador Dalí met shock rocker Alice Cooper in 1973 to collaborate on a piece of art. The result was a holographic sculpture of Cooper's brain, which was covered in ants and featured a chocolate eclair. A 20-year-old Dolly Parton is seen in a recording studio around 1966, the year before her career took off. She was about to get her big break by joining The Porter Wagner Show as the new girl singer. This surprisingly modern-looking faucet with a shut-off valve was recovered from the ruins of Pompeii. The ancient Romans had developed advanced plumbing systems with running water for the city's wealthiest homes. The spacious passenger cabin of an American Airlines flagship flight reflects the luxury of air travel in the 1950s. On these long-haul flights, passengers were often served multi-course meals on real china. Phoebe Cates became a household name in the 80s, with roles in films like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She largely retired from acting in the mid-90s to raise her children with husband and fellow actor Kevin Kline. Gene Tierney was a major Hollywood star in the 1940s, famous for her role in the classic film Laura. A fan with German measles once broke quarantine to meet her, tragically causing Tierney's daughter to be born with severe health issues. In 1951, Life magazine sent a group of American models to Florence to showcase emerging Italian fashions. The candid photo captures a casual moment on a city sidewalk, a contrast to the highly staged fashion shoots of the era. British inventor Clive Sinclair introduced this 2-inch screen microvision in 1966, the world's first pocket television. The device was a commercial failure at the time, but Sinclair would later find success with his ZX Spectrum home computer. This photograph shows a teenage Madonna, likely around 1977, when she was about 19 years old. It was taken several years before she moved to New York City to pursue her career in music and dance. Swedish actress Anita Ekberg became an international symbol after her role in the 1960 film La Dolce Vita. Her famous scene wading into Rome's Trevi Fountain is one of the most recognizable moments in cinema history. A competitor in the 1971 World Pole Sitting Championships in the Netherlands eats a meal on his perch. This odd endurance contest, popular since the 1920s, required participants to remain on their poles for as long as possible. Before becoming the famous redhead Rita Hayworth, Margarita Cancino had dark hair reflecting her Spanish heritage. The studio changed her hairline using painful electrolysis and dyed her hair to create her famous Hollywood look. Winona Ryder defined the look of Generation X in the 1990s, with starring roles in films like Reality Bites and Edward Scissorhands. She was one of the most acclaimed and in-demand actresses of the decade. Hollywood star Grace Kelly left her successful acting career to marry Prince Rainier III of Monaco in 1956. Her wealthy family had to pay a reported $2 million dowry for the wedding, the equivalent of over $20 million today. A picture from 1922 shows Winston Churchill on a beach in France, long before he became Britain's wartime prime minister. He was known to enjoy seaside holidays and had a particular fondness for the French Riviera.